So yesterday we were discussing about Ikram. Did you attend the class yesterday? So request for a recording session, we'll get it. So we're actually discussing about universe designer, what all the options that we have. Okay. So yesterday we were discussing about list of values. So how to add custom list of values into the dynamic list, whatever that it has been generated from our backend database, and how to handle that at runtime when a customer selects that custom value in a report. Let's see. So by default I have all the objects, and for each and every object I have list of values associated. So now I'm looking at state. I have it under outlet lookup. So this is a state object, and these are all different distinct list of values in that particular column. Now along with this I want to append all, so that if the customer selects all, the report should run for all the states. So now the problem is I cannot edit an actual field what I have in my database table, because if I append all, I'm going to get a new row in my output data as well. So that's why I'm not going to append all to the actual state object, wherein I'm going to create a new derived table. So right click on the structure, click on derived table, wherein now I can use my own SQL to generate my output. @LOV, and I'm going to write a select statement here. Select state from outlet lookup. Check the syntax, correct. And this has distinct and union. Select all. Need to mention a table name from. So now I'll click on OK. Now I have a derived table which I'm not going to link with my existing structure of my universe, and now I'm going to create a new folder and rename this as LOV, list of values. Now this is my state object under LOV folder. So see preview, display. See, along with the list I also have one more all. Now how you are going to handle if the customer selects all at runtime in your report level, whatever the parameter or a prompt that you generated. So how we are going to handle that? Let me show you an example in SQL Server. Don't have any temporary tables over here. Let me quickly import all the tables from Extreme Database, whatever that we have. So I have my data in my access file. So I'm going to select MS Access here, and I select the file where you have that Extreme database. Installation directory of business objects. Let me check my ODBC connection where I have the file. Fashion, right? Okay. Samples, universe, fashion. Next, next. Okay. Fresh tables, rename it. New query. I have select star from outlet. So now in this, I have all the data from outlet lookup. So now let's say you have selected one of the value for a parameter state is equal to Texas. So now what happened with this filter condition, I'm able to get only the Texas related data in my database. But what if the customer select all? The same filter condition in the place of Texas, it's going to replace with all. Now if I run this query, I'm not going to get any data because I don't have a state called all in my backend database. So now how I'm going to handle this situation when you append a custom value to your list of values. So I'll write where clause something like this. So now If so, this is the parameter value that I am replacing, and this is the parameter value that I am going to replace. So if I select Texas, then what happens at the place of parameter? Texas, Texas. So now what I am going to get a result with this filter condition. If I execute, I am going to get only Texas data. Because this is false, since you have appended with OR clause, so obviously this is true, so you will get a result which is true. Now when I add all, then what happens? That you are going to get. This is false, but this is always true. So you are going to get all the countries data. Okay. So that's how I need to handle my where clause based on the custom value selected by the customer. So how you are going to apply this filter condition in your query panel? So I'm not going to do it at query panel, wherein in Universe Designer itself you have one more object other than dimension, detail or measure. You have one more object known as condition objects. So condition objects are nothing but predefined conditions that we define at Universe Designer level itself, and we can reuse those conditions at runtime while generating the report in our query panel. So see at the bottom left hand side corner we have objects pane, and if you click on this, this is all conditional objects. So I'm going to create a new condition. So that new condition consists of only where clause. Normal object consists of select clause and where clause, but this consists of only where clause. So now I'm going to write some filter condition.
Yes, I do. Yeah, thank you.
Who's this? Hello, Jahid.
Yes, I am. Hello.
Is this your first class?
Yes, it is my first class. I just received last 3 lectures in a recording, and
Okay.
I'll repeat it later on.
Oh, okay, no problem.
But today is my first class.
Okay, so please mute your line. We'll continue the class.
Sure.
If you have any questions, you can unmute it. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you. So here I'm creating a filter object wherein I'm writing a where clause. So in my where clause, I'm going to apply a filter condition on actual state field. Outlet lookup. This is an actual field. This is not coming from my derivative table. This is from actual field. Is equal to now. So what is the where clause that we were expecting to generate? State equal to all or all equal to all. So in this, because this is dynamic, based on the customer, whatever the value is going to select at runtime, I need to replace at this place. So now we know that how to create a parameter at query panel level, but how I can create a prompt at condition object level, so that if I use this condition, it's going to prompt at runtime. For that, we have an object called @function. To expand here, this is the prompt where we have @prompt. which is a pre-generated @prompt formula. If you use this formula, if you use this object in your report or query panel, it's going to prompt to list of values to select by the customer. So what prompt that I want to generate? So I want to generate a prompt on a state field that I have created using derivable table, which consists of distinct states along with a custom value on. So that I want to prompt to the customer so that he'll be able to see all the list of states along with custom value on. And he can select whatever that he wants. This prompt is going to be replaced with the selected value by the customer at runtime. So now what is this prompt? How I can create a prompt? So this prompt consists of multiple parameters. The first parameter what we have here is, while prompting to the customer, what message that you want to show to the customer. That is the first parameter. I'm going to provide select state. So this is the message that it is going to prompt the customer. And the second one what we have is type of your parameter. So we have three types: alphanumeric, numeric and date. So these are all data types of our parameters. So as of now, the state comes under alphanumeric, which is a character. So for alphanumeric, we use symbol called A, and for numeric we use symbol called N, and for date D. So that is the data type of my parameter. And the third one is what all the values. So here you can append custom values manually, or otherwise you can append a class so that it gets distinct values from that particular object. So here I have an object. I need not mention manually all the list of states, because in real time you might have 100 or 200. So you cannot enter manually all those values. So that's why I'm appending to get distinct values from a specific object, and that object is coming from state that I have generated using derivative table under LOV folder. Put it in single quotes as per the syntax. So that is the third parameter that I have given. And the fourth parameter, mono or multi, which means this parameter, what type of selection that you want to give to the customer. Is it single value selection or multi-value selection? Whether he can select only one at a time or multiple at a time. So here in my scenario, only one at a time, so that's why I'm selecting mono. And then another parameter, free or constrained or primary key. So this parameter gives an information whether customer can provide custom value at runtime. Other than the list, whatever that you are showing, the list of states, he can add his own value at runtime. So if we make it as free, he'll get a text box wherein he can enter his own value. But the problem with that is, obviously he is not going to select the list that we generated from our database, and he's going to enter his own list, for which you are not going to get a data from into your report, because you don't have that value in your backend database. So I'm making this as constraint so that he has to select one of the values from the list of value that we generated. And then persistent or non-persistent. So this persistent or non-persistent are nothing but at runtime we can run a report more than once. So when you first run a report, it is going to prompt you to select a state, and you select some state and you run a report. For example, Texas, and you got the output related to Texas data. Now again, if you run a report, while prompting a parameter, you will be able to see previously selected value in your parameter. So that is nothing but Texas is already selected. If you want to change it, you can change it. That is called persistent. Not persistent in the sense you're not going to have a previously selected value while running the report in the second instance. So this persistent and that is what a persistent and non-persistent is. And then you have default values. These default values are nothing but while refreshing your report, by default some of the states are already selected in your parameter. You need not select manually. If you want to change it, you can change it, but you can provide default, by default Texas is already selected. So these two are optional parameters, so no problem if you provide it or you don't provide it. So you can parse it, no errors. Now click on OK. So before I click on OK, let's see whether my condition is satisfied or not. I have a state from my actual table is equal to my parameter. Now I need to also append one more, or all is equal to again the same parameter. So even then you have written 2 times the same formula, it's not going to prompt you twice, because for those 2 prompts you have same message. If you have different message, at runtime it's going to prompt you 2 parameters. But since you have same message, it's going to prompt you only 1 parameter, and whatever the value that you select, it's going to replace at both the places here. Or rather, writing the same formula again and again, you have one more formula, that is @variable. And in this @variable, I can mention only the message so that it copies the complete formula of @prompt. So this is going to be the same formula what I have written above here, @prompt. So @variable extracts the information whatever that you have provided at runtime for @prompt. So rather copying same formula, rather repeating the same formula again and again, I can use @variable and I can extract what value that you have selected for that particular parameter. Parse it, no errors. So now I have got my where clause. Click on OK. Now click on apply and click on OK. So now I created one filter object. And I'm going to save my universe now and export it back to business object server. So now I have successfully exported my universe. So now let me create a webi report on that particular universe. Now select the universe that I have published. So now I am going to select state and then amount sold, and then I'm going to add a filter condition. See here, I'm not generating any filter condition at runtime. I'm simply reusing the pre-generated filter condition from my universe designer. And this object is going to handle what filter that I need to apply. Now I'm going to run my query. Since my filter condition consists of @prompt, that's why it is prompting. And see here in the list, I'll be able to see all the list along with customized value that I have added. Now I can select California. Now I can run my report. I'm able to see only California data. Now again I refresh it, it's going to prompt. Now I can select all. Now if you run your query, you should be able to see all the states information. You got all the information. So like this, you can handle custom values in your list of value, and whenever you provide a custom value, how you're going to handle if the customer selects that value. Clear? Any questions?
Yeah, hi Raghu. I think you lost me at the at variable part.
Yeah.
So
You didn't understand what is that variable?
Yeah, I think I got lost at that point.
Okay. Normally here in our condition, I have state equal to @prompt and again or all equal to @prompt, right? So that whatever the value that you select at runtime, it's going to be replaced in both the areas.
Both areas, yeah.
But rather repeating the same formula @prompt again and again, I have an option of using a variable that's going to extract what value that you have provided in @prompt.
Okay.
By using @variable with the same message what you have used in prompt.
Okay. Okay.
So that you are not repeating the formula again, but you are just copying whatever that you have selected at multiple places using @variable.
Okay. Okay. So that just prevent it gives us a flexibility.
Yeah, that just prevent creating again and again @prompts.
So if you kind of change the message and parse it, it should prompt an error, right? Even by a letter.
This is just a string, right?
Oh, it's a string.
It's not going to, yeah, at the runtime you might get an error.
Can we test that?
Sure. Apply. Okay. Save it. See, it's prompting twice. One is for variable, one is for parameter. So you have to provide two values.
Something twice. Okay.
Because this message doesn't consist of columns, this message consists of column.
Right.
So now you have got unnecessarily two prompts, wherein here also you need to provide a value, here also you need to provide.
But in the first part, there's no list of values, right?
The first part? Yes, there is no list of value because that is just @variable message.
Right.
Right?
Right. Got it.
So this is what we want to avoid. Even we put @prompt, since you have the same message, it's not going to prompt twice. It's going to prompt only once, but distributed to those two parameters,
okay,
which are having same message. So here you have, since two different messages, again you need to provide state here as well as here, which you don't want to.
Right. Okay, thanks.
So that is about derivative table and how we use customized list of values using table concept. It doesn't mean that it is only for that purpose. So this is one of the functionality that we can use using derivative table concept. So derivative table is nothing but you can use your own custom SQL in Universe Designer. So this is about list of values, and I hope we have seen cascading list. So let me show you how to create a cascading list of values. So now cascading list, go to tools. Here you have list of values. Create cascading list of values. So I'm going to create a cascading list of value for city and state. So this is cascading, which means, let's suppose there is an example wherein you have all the country column, state and city. Throughout the world you have all the cities, all the states and all the countries. Now you want to provide a filter condition at runtime so that the customer can select city to run the report. Now while the customer refresh a report, it's going to list out all the cities. It might be more than 1 lakh. Now how he is going to select a specific city? There are some scenarios wherein the city name might repeat. So now it is difficult for the customer to select a specific city what he is looking for out of all those 1 lakh. So in that scenario, we can go for a cascading prompt so that we give an option to filter out a specific city what the customer for. So before he selects a city, it's going to prompt to select under which country you are looking for a city. He provides some country, and then it's going to list out all the states under that country. Now, under which state that you are looking for a city. So you are going to provide a specific state, and now it's going to list out all the cities under that country and under that state. Now, rather looking at 1 lakh distinct cities, you'll be filtered maybe 100 or tens, and out of those you can select the city what you want. The same way, that's how the cascading prompt works. So here let's say I have state and city, which I created a cascading prompt on city, and I'll click on generate LOV. So now if I go to city, go to the properties, and if I click on display, see it is before displaying the distinct list of cities, it's prompting me to select first state. So I'll select values. So these are all different states. I'll select Texas. Now click on OK. You'll be able to see all the cities under Texas. So like that, at runtime you are going to restrict the list of values of your city. Before looking at city, you are going to filter out all the cities by specific state that you select. So this is cascading list of value. Clear? Any questions? Clear? So this is one type of cascading list of value. Yesterday we have seen hierarchical view. So what is that hierarchical view? So I made a cascading list of value, right? Let's see how it got generated a query for this particular object. If I click on edit here, see what it has done. It's same like a query panel wherein you have selected a city object. To get list of cities, you have applied a filter conditional state to prompt for a state. So even then you have gone through different options and you generated this cascading prompt. Obviously, it edits the query behind that object. Here, I don't want to show this in this manner. I'll remove this filter condition. Now, I want to show, yesterday we have seen how to show that hierarchical value in a folder structure. Object lookup, make it state here. Now, I need to sort state in an ascending order. Click on OK. Now it should display. Refresh. See, rather prompting, it's going to show you by grouping all the cities based on a state. So that you can expand a specific state to select a specific city. Remember, this type of a view, you will not be able to select state to run your report. You have to select a city to run your. This is just for viewing purpose. But actual filter condition that you want to apply is not on state, but on city. Just to simplify the list of values, so this is another type where we can list off. Where in the previous one, it's going to prompt you. Once you provide a value, you'll be able to see only these three values. But here it's showing all the states, and if you expand a state, you'll be able to see the state. So this is hierarchical view, and the other one what we have seen is cascading prompt. So that is about list of values, and please do remember that you need to check this option automatic refresh before use. So what it does, as I said, each and every object has associate list of values, and that is going to generate one list of value name in the backend at runtime. And when you export this universe, it's going to export along with the list of values what it has generated at runtime, which is a static list at that particular instance when you run that report. But if any update has been done in this particular column, city column in your backend database, new city has been added. Now in order to reflect that new city in your list of value, you check this option, automatic refresh before use. So that whenever you refresh your report, it also refreshes the distinct list of values from your backend database to get the updated data into your LOB. And the hierarchical display is the one what we have done as of now, showing both the columns in a folder-like structure, that is hierarchical display. The third option what you have here is export with universe. So when do we go with this particular option? So this option is useful when you append custom list of values from any other file rather coming from a database. So how to append custom list of values? So let's take an example. I have one Excel sheet. New Excel. Let me create a new file. Notepad. And I'll name this here different cities A, comma, B, comma, C, comma, D. This is not converting. Okay, so here I have A, B, C. Just want to convert into a CSV format. So let me use this text file itself. Now I want to append that list to my city object. So how I'm going to append? Go to tools, list of values, edit list of values. Now expand and select a specific object to which you want to append custom list of values. Select this city. Now see here you have an option of directly getting from your query panel, which is coming from your database, for personal data. Now for personal data, these are all the files that are supported: CSV, TXT, AC, and PRN. So I'm going to select TXT file that I generated on my desktop. Click on Open, which is it is a character, but here it is comma. Click on OK. So now click on display. It's displaying all of them in a single value. Don't have an option to edit it. Let me do one thing. For this text file, I'll name this as A, enter, B, enter, C, enter, B. Yes. Now edit, browse, select the same one, click on Open. Now click on OK. Now display. So now I have custom list. So like this, you can append list of values from static files as well. So when you append like this, and while exporting this particular universe to your business object server, make sure that you select export with universe for the static list, whatever that you append, so that it exports that list along with the universe when you export your universe to your business objects server. And delegate search is something where while selecting an object in your query panel, you can apply a search. Here. So as of now, this is a simple universe. You have very less number of objects, but in real time, you might create 1,000 or 2,000 objects. So how you are going to search? You might not know where exactly they exist. So I'm searching for a state. So what I can do is I can write ST A. Select it directly state object. So that is about the properties of an object. So actual definition of an object consists of select statement and a where clause. So wherein this particular object is pointed to a city object from a specific table, and if you want to apply any filter, you can apply it here. So that if you use this object, this where clause is going to be applied to the query it has generated at runtime. So that is about properties of an object and universe design. Any questions?
Raghu, I had a question. Can we move objects for like the same column?
Move object?
Have different queries for the objects?
No, I didn't get you. Can you repeat your question, please?
Like for example, we have the city object, right? It points to all the cities.
Yes.
Can we another object with this the same column name, but
yes, that's what. Yes, we can. That's what we have done using derived table. I have a state which is coming from derived table, but I have again a state which is coming from outlet lookup.
Okay.
But here you can duplicate it, which are coming from the same table and same column with different object names. Yes, you can.
And then can we?
So what I can do is, see here, I'm again dragging. Yes, I can write the where clause so that Whenever you want a filter condition, you can use that object. Whenever you don't want, you can use this object.
Right. Okay. Thanks.
Yes, you can do it. See, again, I'm trying to drag and place it in the same place. See now what it has written, city2. By default, it has city2. Both are pointing to the same column.
Right. Like,
So here, rather applying city2, what I'll do is, here,
right.
I'll name it as something like Texas. And under this, I'll apply where clause city equal to Texas. So that if I use this object, I'll only get Texas.
If you want to separate countries by, like, European countries or Asian countries, we can have.
Yes, you can. So each and everything you need to have a where clause. And remember, this is not specific to this object.
The where
For
clause?
example, yes, the where object. As of now in your universe designer, this is specific to the object.
Right.
That's right. But in your query panel, along with all other objects, if you use this object, that is going to be a where clause for the complete query, not for only this object, remember.
Oh.
That's where the problem is.
Oh.
See here, I'm going to apply, not Texas, delete it. I'm going to duplicate state object. Now I'll name this as Texas. And here my where clause is equal to Texas. Click on apply, click on OK. Now I have Texas object, save it, export, and now I am going to create a new universe report. This training. Now I have Texas and amount told, and I'll also add some more zip code or city, family code, all other things. Now if you see SQL generated, see where do you have a where clause? So for this complete query, you're restricting the data to Texas.
Okay.
Okay?
The where clause still applies only to that, like that particular column, right? It's not.
That is for that particular column, that's right. But still, since you are using that column in your query, that is going to be a complete query filter condition, right?
Right. For that, yeah. Okay.
Okay, so you might be in a dilemma that you have added Texas and you have added Illinois, and you are thinking that I'll get both the data when I run my query. No. It's going to apply two filter conditions at a time, remember.
Oh.
That's how you are going to get. It should be Texas or Illinois,
Right.
but not Texas and Illinois.
Right.
You won't get a data.
Right.
So you need to remember how the universe is going to generate a query. And based on your requirement, this is not how you are going to handle by applying a where clause in the object itself. Rather, you can use your own filter objects.
Okay.
Or otherwise, at runtime, add your own filter condition by using state in list, and select what all that you want. Values from a list, California, Illinois, Texas, click on it. This is another option to run to get what all the states information that you want. But remember, if you use a specific object that has a where clause, that is going to be apply complete query filter condition. Even then, that is specific to an object. While using it in your query panel, it's going to be a complete query filter condition.
Okay.
Okay. So that is about filter objects. And in this filter conditions, what can you do using possible using query panel can be done here at condition objects. So what is not possible using filter objects in query panel? Writing if conditions. If so and so value is this, apply this condition. If so and so value is this, apply another condition. So like that, if statements, condition based on a condition. So that type of filter statements that you can apply using condition objects in Universe Designer. And one more advantage if you apply filters if you create filter objects at Universe Designer level is these objects are reusable in multiple reports. You need not create the logic again and again for each and every report. Because this filter object is already exist in your Universe Designer, you can simply drag and drop it. So that is the biggest advantage if you do it at universe level. All the objects are reusable for multiple report designing purpose. Clear? Any questions? No questions? Yes.
There was an option of to delegate the search in the list of values properties, right? What was that?
Yes. That's what I mean. If you have multiple objects, you can enable delegate search. It's going to create some indexes in the backend to make your search faster.
It will make the search faster.
Yes.
Okay. Otherwise, everything is search. You can search on anything, but just to make it faster, you enable that.
Yes. Delegate search is going to enable some indexes for searching a specific object what you are looking for.
Okay.
And I'll give you more information on that, which is a new option added in 3.1.
Okay.
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 So that is about list of values and objects. And if you observe here, I created this state object only for my logic purpose, not for using this particular object in my report, right? But while the report developers, while developing the report, they'll be able to see this state object and they might be confused. What is this state and what is this state? And which one that they need to use for designing their report. So in that scenario, I had an option of hiding this particular object. So that once you hide this object, you can use it in your Universe Designer logics, but at runtime while selecting in your query panel, you're not going to see this object. Let me save it. File, export. See, I don't have that object under LOV folder. So like that, even then you create some customized objects for calculating purpose in Universe Designer. You can hide them while generating the report so that they won't use them. What happens if they use that state? You're going to get one more row that is all. Any questions? So anything that you do here is going to be reflected while designing your report. So that's why if you can handle as much as possible at the Universe Designer level, it will be easier for report developers to generate a report and they can concentrate more on designing a report rather creating formulas. So that is about list of values and object properties. And as I said in the first class, based on generate one query, right? Now if you see this query, so how is it showing? All the joining is happening in a where clause. So this is not a standard SQL. Actually, if you find a standard SQL, the select statement should be something like the joining should happen in a from clause, not in a where clause. Something like select so and so fields from so and so table, inner join on another table on this field, and left outer join on another table on this field. So like that, how we write in a standard SQL. So other than that, you can also write another SQL, which is this, wherein you are joining those two tables in a where clause. But a customer is not satisfied with SQL what you're running, and if he wants to execute a standard SQL which is going to improve the performance of reading the data. So to improve that, you have an option in your Universe Designer. Go to File, Parameters. So we have seen all this except the last one, that is parameter. Here if you see, you have ANSI 92, no. So ANSI 92, which is a standard Unicode format, which is not enabled. If you enable this, it's going to generate a SQL with a standard format with inner join and outer join. Write it as yes and click on replace. But before doing that, using ANSI join, if you observe here, I can enable outer join on only one table in my join properties, right? Either left outer or right outer. But what if I want full outer? Not possible, right? But full outer will be enabled once you enable a parameter ANSI 92 as yes and click on replace. Okay. Save your universe. Go to your join. See, this is full outer. Because full outer join is not supported in all databases. Only in some databases full outer join is supported. So like that, the generation of query can be altered by selecting some of the parameters what we have under File Parameters, Parameter tab. These are all distinct parameters. Based on your requirement, what you want to do, select a specific parameter and enable it. But how do you know which parameter is for what? So for that, go to Help. Under Help, you have index searching and parameter. And it gives you each and every parameter value and the purpose of that parameter. Here it gives universe parameter and what happens if you make it as yes, what happens if you make it as no. Everything is explained here. So based on your requirement. Okay. So based on your requirement, you can enable any parameter that you want that is going to affect the generated queries in the backend. So that's it for today. I'm running out of time now. And we'll discuss the remaining part of Universe Designer in the next class. So no class on weekends. So we'll reunite on Monday. Any questions?
Yes, Raghu, I have one question, please.
Yes, Jai. Sure.
Because I joined late, so I want to know how to install this software and where to find the software, because
you can send an email to big classes. They are going to create one user ID and password for you.
oh, okay.
And they'll give you a remote access. You can log in to that particular server and you can access.
Okay.
You can practice.
And second thing, Web Intelligence and Universe Designer is a different software, or is combined?
Okay.
So
that's a combined one. Universe Designer is a semantic layer which you are going to design on your database.
okay.
And Web Intelligence is a reporting tool which is going to connect to your Universe Designer and show the output.
Okay. Oh, you mean it's a one?
So in between your backend database and front-end reporting, there is a middle layer called semantic layer, that is Universe Designer.
Okay. Basically, but we will face a Web Intelligence all the time, right?
Yes, yes. Because the front end, the result set where the customers or developers are going to see is Web Intelligence, not in Universe Designer.
Okay.
If you see those recordings, those two classes, you can understand how exactly that it's going to generate the result set. But Universe Designer is a hidden layer where customers cannot see, only developers can do that.
Mm-hmm.
But the result how you are getting into the report is just because of Universe Designer.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, in our agenda we have Web Intelligence, Webby Rich Client, Crystal Reports, Excel Shares, and Admin Part. Okay?
Okay.
So, yeah. So that's it. Have a great day.
Okay.
Talk to you in the next class then on
Thanks.
Monday.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks.
Raghav.